Now at 5, a massive arrest operation in Indianapolis. I'm Ashton Hackman. Why police say it's operations like this that bring down overall violent crime.
And it's been a warm summer-like day. Temperatures into the 80s currently, but we're expecting storms overnight and a big cool down for the weekend. Lots to talk about in the forecast.
Money missing from the Muncie Parks Department.
The amount believed stolen and what the city had to do and intended to use some of it for.
Thanks for joining us tonight at 5. We start with a major arrest sweep across Indianapolis, targeting some of the city's most wanted and violent offenders.
IMPD calls it Operation Guardian, and a big sweep it was. More than 130 arrests. Ashton Hackman shows us what was taken off the streets and how police say teamwork and community tips made all of this possible.
And Metro Police says it's operations like this, targeting the most wanted and violent offenders in Indianapolis, at helping reducing violent crime across the city. Guns in the wrong hands, drugs fueling deadly overdoses, cash tied to crime. That's what officers say they took off the streets during a sweep they're calling Operation Guardian, a large-scale effort leading to 133 arrests, including 28-year-old Braden Blake, wanted on 6 counts of murder in a deadly arson case in Bloomington. 5 other homicide suspects also taken into custody.
If you have a big group of individuals focusing on most of the homicide suspects, we can catch more.
IMPD Captain Brady Ball leads Indiana's Crime Guns Task Force. He says officers didn't do it alone. Metro Police working alongside the DEA, FBI, and U.S. Marshals. That kind of collaboration, he says, led to results.
When you're able to bring all those teams together and put up the numbers that we put up and prove those numbers, I think it's significant because it shows the community that we're trying to figure this out, right? We're trying to find the bad people and we're trying to put them in jail.
And it's not just law enforcement. Ball says it also takes help from neighbors and people in the community.
We cannot do this. We cannot get better. We cannot figure this out without that community partnership. And it starts with police on the street and the citizens on the street.
That partnership playing out on the same streets where 133 people were arrested. Operation Guardian happens in Indianapolis about 2 times every year, meaning you're likely to see another large sweep of arrests sometime this year. In Indianapolis, Ashton Hackman, 13 News.
The Marion County Prosecutor's Office will make the final charging decisions. During the last Operation Guardian we told you about, police made 116 arrests.
Tonight, the Marion County coroner is working to ID a man who was killed in a stabbing just hours ago. It happened, in fact, around 1:30 this afternoon on East 42nd near North Franklin Road on the northeast side. Metro Police say they found the man in critical condition. He later died at the hospital. So far, officers have yet to share any more information about a possible suspect in the case.
70 years in prison. That is the sentence for a man a jury found guilty of murder at an East Side motel. 24-year-old Anthony Morst shot and killed 23-year-old Kenneth Barnett at this Budget 8 Inn. This video shows the crime scene near 21st and Shadeland back in June of 2023. Hotel staff discovered Barnett's body 2 days after the shooting, after a concerned family member called to check on him. Prosecutors then used surveillance video and data from Morst's cell phone to place him at the scene of the crime. And an update tonight into a search for a person of interest in a shooting in Lafayette. Officers have been looking for 37-year-old Adam McDaniel after a shooting back on April 6th. Well, now police tell us they found a man dead near McDaniel's truck, and the coroner is working to identify the man and determine how he died. The shooting happened at this apartment complex on Olivia Place. It left a man in critical condition. Police say the person of interest also left the complex with a 7-year-old that morning, but they later found the child safe at a house in Rossville.
Angela's off tonight. Rob is in, and the story is about the temperatures that have been just creeping up, really warm out there. And then we're looking ahead now to the chance of storms for tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's really going to be the contrast between this really warm air that we've got in place right now, and then at some point you're going to see the temperatures come crashing down. In between, it'll be that chance for storms. That'll arrive tonight. So I think it's going to impact maybe the first half of your Saturday, and I'll kind of walk you through that timeline. Let me show you the numbers because those have been impressive. They are into the 80s right now. 81 is where we currently sit. Still got some south or southwest winds. This is helping to warm the temperatures up most of the Midwest, dealing with warm temperatures. But then you see the contrast back to the west. And this is where we have the storm, the front that's going to be moving through and giving us a decent chance for at least some rain overnight. Will the severe threat arrive with that as well? Well, that remains to be seen. I'll move the map just so you can see. Look at the line of storms that populates with severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. Several of those, even some confirmed tornadoes on the ground at the moment. Most of the threat is going to be farther to the west, although there is a pretty significant tornado threat ongoing right now, right along the Mississippi River Valley. As it moves this way, it will weaken, but in the short term, through the next few hours, it's going to be very mild. Temperatures in the 70s. Clouds will start to fill in. I think after midnight, we'll have that chance for a few scattered thunderstorms, maybe even some stronger storms during the overnight. And then tomorrow, we're looking at much cooler temperatures. We may stay in the 60s during the overnight into the morning, but by tomorrow, it's all downhill as the cooler air rushes in. It may be cooler during the afternoon than it will be in the morning, and we'll have some rain chances, mainly for the early part of the day. I'll show you a future track. That will really outline this for you coming up.
All right, Bob, thank you.
Yeah.
Tonight, new fallout from a state investigation into the city of Muncie's Parks Department.
A report from the State Board of Account outlines years of financial control failures, and now, as a result, 2 employees are fired. Emily Longnecker is here to explain.
Well, according to that report from the state, those former employees took money, and some of that money was supposed to help the city of Muncie run programs for kids in the summertime, but the mayor says that money never made it into the city's coffers.
Over $20,000. That's how much a state investigation shows 2 employees with the city of Muncie took before anyone noticed something wasn't right 4 years ago.
We found some documents that didn't seem 100% accurate.
Invoices that didn't add up. So Muncie's mayor says the city called the state's Board of Accounts and the Indiana State Police to investigate.
We've cooperated 100%, and we're looking forward to this coming to an end.
According to the state's reports, one of the city employees allegedly rented out city equipment to another town's Chamber of Commerce and pocketed the money, $8,000. A second employee allegedly collected close to $5,000 in rental fees and damage deposits for cabins and shelters the city rents out. But the city never saw that money.
How does something like this happen and go undetected until a certain point? Because you took cash payments before? I mean, is that...
Well, I don't know I think that's part of it, but when there's a second person, then sometimes the cross controls, that's why we asked for the investigation.
The mayor says that discovery has led to some changes.
We no longer accept any cash deposits for rentals, so you're paying by check, or you're paying by credit card, or you're not renting the cabins.
According to the state, some of the money in question was meant to pay for T-shirts for kids in a summer mentorship program. Other funds help pay for youth swimming and mentorship programs.
These were things that happened that we were not even aware that were going on.
City officials say they're waiting to see if criminal charges will be filed next. In Muncie, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
Tonight, the city of Tipton is looking for a new police chief and assistant chief. Tipton's mayor, Keegan Schmicker, says the 2 resigned over the past couple of days, but the resignations are not connected, and they will both keep their jobs as patrol officers. The mayor issued a statement, and it says, quote, "The chief's resignation comes as part of a broader strategic reorganization of the department as the city evaluates the structure and resources to ensure long-term sustainability. This includes planning for anticipated financial impacts at the state level and positioning the department to operate as efficiently and effectively as possible moving forward."
For over a year now, here at 13 News, we've been following the governor's push for nuclear energy to be produced here in Indiana.
Rich Nye reports on support for nuclear energy now coming from one of the most important companies in the state.
Governor Mike Braun has made it abundantly clear that he wants Indiana to be a leader in the development of nuclear energy. And this week, Eli Lilly signed on with that goal. The governor announced that Lilly Chair and CEO Dave Ricks has signed a letter of intent to collaborate on the development of nuclear energy in Indiana, including small modular reactors. Ricks released a statement that includes, "Advanced nuclear technology represents the kind of bold, clean energy solution our state needs to power the next generation of innovation, and it directly supports Lilly's own commitment to reduce our environmental footprint. we're proud to partner with the state to help make it a reality. The governor has set a goal for Indiana to have nuclear power online by 2033. Tonight at 6, an update from the company that hopes to meet that goal. First American Nuclear has relocated to Indiana with plans to build an energy park somewhere in the state that could power 1.5 million homes. In Indianapolis, Rich Nye, 13 News.
And the letter of intent signed by Eli Lilly is non-binding and involves no financial commitment. This is simply a show of support for pursuing nuclear energy in Indiana.
Coming up, severe weather is moving through the Midwest tonight,
where this tornado was caught on camera this afternoon.
And it's a cold front that's bringing that severe weather. It's also going to move through here and cool our temperatures down for the weekend. We'll talk about what that means for our forecast and when we're finally going to warm back up.
And opening the Strait of Hormuz.
The positive impact that move is making on oil prices and the U.S. stock market.